In the previous lecture, I have explained about variables in Python. Variables are the names given to the data. Variables can hold the data, and also you can call variables as references to the data. This is how we see the variables in Python. Now next, we will get the idea about the data types in Python, means how the data types are provided. If you are familiar with other languages, you may be knowing the data types available in the languages. For example, if you are familiar with C++ or Java, then you may be knowing the things like there is an integer data type, float data type, and a char data type. Like this, there are many other data types available in those languages. So anyway, if you are new to programming, don't worry about this. You don't have to know Java or C++. I'll freshly explain about how the data types are handled in Python. Now the main important thing is Python is dynamically typed language. Let us understand what does it mean. Let us take an example variable x. Now already I told you that whenever you declare any variable in Python program, you must initialize it. Suppose I am initializing it with a value 25. Now the question is, what is the data type here? So if you see this value that is 25, this is a integral type of value. So let us call it as integer type of value. Then what is the variable type? Variable type also becomes integer because variable is just a reference to the value. So variable is holding integer value. So we say variable is also integer type. Now once again I repeat the important point. In Python, the values will have their data type. So the type of this data is nothing but integer. But the variables, they don't have any data type. Variables will just hold the value belonging to any type of data. Now, in the same program or the very next line, if I say x assigned with 13.75, now you can see that the type of value that I'm using is a decimal value, or it is also called as floating point value. In scientific terms, it is called as floating point value. So this is a float type of data, and I am storing it or assigning it to variable x. Now, what is the type of variable x? It is float now. So actually variable x doesn't have its any type, but it will get its type depending on the value that is assigned to it. Now similarly, if suppose to x I am assigning a letter A, character A. Now this character is nothing but a string type, or you can also call it as a character type. Let us say it's a string. So now the type of x is string type. Now you can see here that variable x in the same program is changing the value from integer to float, float to string. So it is changing its type. The type of x is not remaining same. It is initially it is integer type. Then next it has become a float type. Then it has become a string type. So we can say that variables are dynamically typed. So how the variables will have their data type? Basically variable will not have data type. Their data type is depending on the value assigned to them. That's it. I will show more about the values, but let me tell you one thing. If you are from C++ or Java, if you're not from those languages, don't worry. Okay, just for those people I am saying this. If you are familiar with C++ and Java, you may be knowing that you cannot declare any variable without defining its data type. Like in C++, C++ or Java, you have to say integer x, then only you can assign value 25. And to this x, you cannot store value 13.75. This is not allowed in other languages. But in Python, it is allowed because we don't have to define the type of variable, just you can simply use the variable. That's how the data types are handled in Python. So Python is dynamically typed language. Now let me demonstrate this variable, whatever I have explained you here, let me demonstrate this. So let us go to IDLE, and here I will show you. I am declaring a variable x. Just declaration is not allowed in Python. You must initialize also. So I am assigning value 25. So this is value 25 is assigned. Now what is the type of this x? So there is a function available in Python to know the type of any variable. Just you have to write type and x. Now see, it is showing some message here and it is saying that the class int. So it belongs to a class type integer. So yes, this is an integer type value. Then what does it mean by class here? Now one important thing, the foremost and the very important thing is that everything in Python is an object. So it's having its class. So this int type is nothing but a class. So the value 25 is an object of this int class. So this variable x is of type class int. I will just print the variable once I will show you. Now you can see that it's showing value 25 only. Now to that same variable x, I will assign 13.75. Then if I print x, you can see that it will print value 13.75. Now I will say again type x. What is the type of x? Now the class for that x has changed. Now x is float type. Variable name is same x, but the type has changed. How the type is decided? It is decided based on the value that I have assigned to it. Now let us check. X assign letter A. If I say type of x, str, class str, it means it's a string type. That's it. So the variable x doesn't have any type, but the type is changing depending on the value. So you can say that this class str, so the str is nothing but the type of a value, not a variable. So variable is just a reference. Now I will show you one more type here. X assign. Now in square brackets, I will write on the values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I will close it. Now let us see what is this type. Type of x. Oh, this is list. So list is also one of the data type. Yeah, we will learn about other data types later on. We'll learn about the data types in detail, every data type. So this is one more type I am showing you. So it means, I'll go back here. So it means we can store the values like this also in Python. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is called as list. Not just single values, you can have list of values also in Python. So there's a predefined data type called list available. Like this, there are many other data types we will be learning on later. Variables doesn't have their type, but the values have the type. So the type of the variable depends on the value assigned to it. So the type of a variable is dynamic. It is not fixed, it is not static. This is one point. And the second important thing that I told you, that everything in Python is object. So there is a class available for it. So what is this object? What is this class? Okay, just take them as abstract terms right now. Slowly we'll learn about these things. But just remember that everything in Python is objects. So whatever the values that you're taking, they are objects. So that's all in this lecture. More about the variables I will show you in the next lecture. Just you try to check the things that you have learned. You don't have to practice anything much here. It is a beginning lecture. Just you check the things what I have shown you. Go to Ideally and try to do those things by yourself. And make sure you are practicing everything whatever you are learning. That's all.